Can a thin election move the need for Bitcoin? Currently, the country is split in the rightist Keiko Fujimori and the leftist Roberto Sanchez. Tell me, who do you think is going to win the race? So historically in Peru, when there is a political event, the big money moves to another place. For instance, Bitcoin is one of the safe words for the people in Peru. Actually, what Keiko Fujimori wants is to keep a free market where the companies and the clients coexist, where the transactions are made with any restriction, and where the market auto-regulates the price. But what happens with the candidate Roberto Sanchez? Actually, he wants to make a new economic model. He wants to make different structure with the central bank. So currently, the central bank is managed by the long-standing Julio Velarde, and he is managing the currency of Peru, and he is trying to keep inflation under the radar with the Peruvian currency that is called soles. So basically, there is a huge problematic. What happens if Keiko Fujimori becomes president, and what happens when Roberto Sanchez becomes president? This is like a philosophical debate, be or not be. So what would happen with the country? Actually, in the platform of the richest man in the world, Elon Musk, called X, in this X platform, there are a lot of users that state that if Roberto Sanchez turn to win the race for the presidency, Peru could become a country with an economic disgrace as the country that is near to Peru, that is called Venezuela. So basically, there is a huge debate, and we have to take things in consideration. For example, there is an statistic platform in Peru called Datum that have discovered that in the coast of Peru, where there is the capital Lima, Keiko Fujimori has won the race for the presidency with 60%. But in contrast, in the highlands and in the jungle, in these sections of the country, Roberto Sanchez has overcome Keiko Fujimori. Being the underdog, he make his race taking advantage of the huge anti-Fujimorism sentiment that is in the country. So basically, if you didn't know, Keiko Fujimori is the daughter of Alberto Fujimori, and when Alberto Fujimori was the president of Peru, he made huge decisions to erase the terrorism in the country. So basically, he took difficult decisions, difficult sociopolitical decisions, but they were, I would say, kind of drastic, because, for example, when it was 1990s in Peru, the country was affected by two major movements. The first one, MRTA, and the second one called the Luminous Path. So basically, he took huge decisions to combat the terrorism in the country, and also he intended to reduce the fertility in the country, but he took a decision that may be contrary to the human rights and to the Constitution of San Jose de Costa Rica. So basically, he tried to decrease the fertility in the country, taking medical decisions with the fertility of indigenous women in the country. So that's the reason why in sections of the country like the highlands and in the jungle, there is a huge movement that doesn't like at all the race that Keiko Fujimori is doing. That's the reason why in some sections of the country like Arequipa or in Huancavelica, Roberto Sanchez has overcome with 80% or 90% according to Datum and also according to Ipsos. So basically, there is a huge movement that opposes the ideology of Fuerza Popular, that is a political movement in Peru. So basically, that's the reason why as Pedro Castillo make the coup in the country, he was charged with the rebellion felony, but actually this had a brief impact in the economy of Peru because actually in that same year where Castillo made the coup, huge capitals outflow from the capital to countries like the USA or even Europe, because the people were afraid that the Peruvian currency could enter in an hyperinflationary movement. So basically, there was a huge fear with the economy of the country, and that's the reason why a lot of dollars, approximately $2 billion, outflow from Lima to the USA, because there was a sentiment of fear with the Peruvian economy. That's the reason why now, 2026, there is a huge probability that people aren't going to maintain their savings in soles. Actually, there is a possibility that they buy USD Tether or maybe Bitcoin because they are safer in the long term. That's the reason why even some companies, especially from the sector that tries to sell houses and also buy them, as you may know, real estate. Some real estate companies in Peru are closing their operations because of the political instability that is happening in the country. That's the reason why I highly expect that people are going to invest maybe in Bitcoin, USD Tether, or even in safer assets like gold. There is some historical data that when there are political instability, not just only in Peru, people try to save and bet on gold. For example, if we talk about the country USA and also the country Iran, there is a political tension created by the war between the USA and Iran. And what happened with the price of gold? Basically, right now the price of gold is approximately between $4,000 to $5,000. So basically, the price of gold is increasing a lot. This is because people are trying to invest their assets in gold with fear from inflation of their own currency, of the USA dollar. Also, people are trying to invest in crude oil. Basically, crude oil and gold are safe assets for people that try to back up their money in hard assets, not like soft assets like USA company stocks, and they are trying to back up their assets. As you may know, gold is one of the things that has backed up the price of Bitcoin. And that's the reason why we could see a high spike in the price of Bitcoin. Actually, Bitcoin right now is between $63,000 to $64,000, and people are trying to invest all their money. Even Steven Taylor, multi-million investor and also in social media influencer, has stated that Bitcoin in 10 years could reach $1 million. So this is a huge prediction, and we could see a huge bullish moment where a lot of investors try to buy Bitcoin. So I highly recommend that in moments where there are political instability, you try to diversify your portfolio and not just only invest in Bitcoin, maybe in gold or in other assets like Ethereum or XRP. Throughout the history, hard assets like gold and Bitcoin have remained bullish when there are political instability. Now, if we correlate this information with the political moment that Peru is suffering right now, we could say that Bitcoin could reach even $100,000. The race between Keiko Fujimori and Roberto Sanchez hasn't ended yet. This is a huge problem because in countries like Chile, the result of the elections was made within 4 hours, but in the case of Peru, it's taking even more time. So please like and subscribe and write in the comments who do you think is going to end up winning this race of the elections of the 2026 elections between Keiko Fujimori and Roberto Sanchez. Thank you for watching this video, and we will see us in a next time. Bye.